Is that 7 to 3? What was that one? Seems like there was a big one when I was in high school. Library.
Aye.
She likes to come out so far. She's just better. Oh, that's right. Who's all going?
The clock on the wall is 9 o'clock. I got about 1 minute till on the phone.
Okay.
And before the sheriff gets comfortable, we might as well stand and do our pledge of allegiance, okay? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, gentlemen, and everyone out here. Agenda. Any additions, corrections, anything you see there?
No, I make a motion to approve the agenda today.
The only thing I'd say is I think we have 3 sets of minutes for the 26th, not 2.
No, we have.
I think there's 3. You sent us 3.
Yes, because of the closed, never mind,
Yeah, so, yeah,
Guess I'd approve the agenda.
okay, that's your second, all right. All those in favor? Primer, aye?
Seaman, aye.
Pierce-Nick, aye.
Very good, thank you. I think I'll kind of save the reports till towards the end, as we normally do, if that's okay with everybody. So, what's that?
Oh, Sue has to be at the very end, that's why I moved stuff around.
Hey,
Well, yeah, that's not a big deal. Item 4, revised minutes for the 19th.
move we approve.
Had a chance to look them over?
Yeah.
Very good. Tracy,
I read most of them, I didn't get through them all, but I'll approve them.
the 19th.
The 19th. I haven't read them.
I had it in red, but I added.
Yeah, and then she said she went back and changed that motion of Gary's, so. yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve them.
Well, Gary's already done that.
Second then.
Okay, and this is for the 19th?
Yes.
The revised one, okay? And I'll call for a vote. Primer, aye?
Seaman, aye.
Pierce-Nick, aye.
Okay. There are 3 sets for the 26th. Which ones did you get through? Tracy, you should read them. You read them, Gary? Okay.
There's the tax hearing one separate,
That one I got
and then
through.
there's the
Okay.
closed session, and then the new hire and the
Those are
one.
the-
Closed session I got through.
And then that first agenda, I tried to combine all the recess at the back.
That's the one I haven't got through yet.
Okay,
That was long.
well, let's do two of them then, that you got through.
You can come back
the
to
other-
those.
Yeah, we can.
We-
We-
yeah,
we-
just
Let's
come
just come
back.
back. We'll just come back. Okay. Do you want to do the amended budget before you set the hearing?
Yep.
Okay.
So as I mentioned last week, we couldn't go in and propose the fiscal year 25 budget until last week's hearing was done. So with that being said, I didn't want to publish in today's paper without the approval. So the 16th won't work, because it would have had to been in the paper today.
Okay.
So I was thinking maybe the 19th, if you want to have a meeting, or the 23rd, because I'm off the week of the 22nd. If we do it, but I mean, I can
Or
make
any
it
other
come in
time.
and come in and do it, but.
Yeah.
So if you want to do it the 23rd at 9:15,
Okay. That's the hearing date for that.
yep, and then I'll go out and close it, and then the public can go out and view the budget proposal.
9:15?
Yep, because Myron has something at 1:30, so.
Okay. Could I please get a motion to that effect? Somebody, please? Okay.
Move we set the budget hearing 4/23 at 9:15.
Okay. There's a second on that?
Second it.
Okay, moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Team and I.
Pierce guy.
Thank you. And did that take care of the amended one as well, right?
No, that's
You got
amending
something?
service areas. So
Okay.
that's for spending authority within some areas that I run every month.
Yeah.
I got the rest of the invoice for the mailing, so it's roughly another, we already paid the 9,010, and the invoice was for 6,900 and something. I don't have it with me, but between that and then there's outside legal counsel bills. So for you guys as spending authority, if you approve, I want to move $12,000 spending authority from General Basic Department 99 and put it into the supervisor's budget for those two line items. So that's by resolution. Here's that.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions, gentlemen?
No.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve those two items? For the amendment of the service area?
Motion on the amendment.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Moved and seconded, and I will call for a vote. This is resolution, but it doesn't matter, that's how we vote anyway. Primer, aye.
Team and I.
Pierce guy.
Put this to you guys to sign real quick.
Yeah. And then I have that invoice for you to initial too.
This is,
That one's for the attorney fees.
Attorney.
Here's the rest of the postage.
did you have one for the town? There was talk about bringing that.
Scott brought it to me yesterday, we're gonna put it on next week.
Okay, okay,
There's the town balance.
okay.
That's the rest of the postage. So the mailing overall cost us $15,136.09.
Okay.
So it was under 20.
Get these to you fellas to initial also. Here, go ahead. There's that. Thank you. With his signature initials, then we'll jump over to Larry, if that's okay.
handout for you so you can kind of see what I'm talking about.
Thanks.
Pictures are right there.
Yeah.
You've never done all this.
Thank you.
So, something like, not supposed to do.
Morning, Larry.
Good morning. Take the hot seat.
Sure.
Okay, well, I'm here representing the Van Horn Fire Department and the Van Horn Benefited Fire District, which is our rural district. We started a project a couple years ago, call it the Breathing Air Compressor and Fill Station Project. What that is when firemen go into hazardous air environments, they have to wear self-contained breathing apparatus, the air tank we put on our backs. We're changing from a low-pressure system to a high-pressure system so you can have more time in that environment. The normal low-pressure system gives you approximately 20 minutes if you're in good shape. The higher pressure system will give you 40 minutes, which allows getting in, working, and getting out.
Sure.
So it's quite an expensive ordeal, and it's gone up about $9,000 in the last 2 years. So I was coming in to propose any acquisition of monies from the lost or the local option sales tax. The numbers I gave you on the front shows what the fill station, which is where you put the bottles in to fill them up safely and to the right pressure. The next number, $35,559.50, is the high pressure compressor. And then installation, we have to get different bottles to store the air to fill the tanks with, giving a total of the project of $59,608.50, plus some miscellaneous we're not going to worry about. But we did receive a grant 2 years ago to help get it started. We purchased the fill station with that and the installation of that fill station. That grant was $10,000. And the second page is the price of what it costs us to buy the fill station. The next page is a picture of what that looks like and specifications on it. The third page, ending in $50,789.50, is the cost of the compressor. And then the picture of what it looks like, specifications on the back side, and then what the cascade air system would look like on the last page. Ask me questions, Don, what to tell you.
Why is the compressor so expensive?
Well, anytime you buy anything for fire departments, that raises the price. As you know, with county stuff, probably would cost more. But it's 6,000 PSI, so it's a very high pressure. And the filtration system on it filters air, because it'll take ambient air, filter it, take out any contaminants, moistures, and then compress it to 6,000 pounds into those bottles so we can fill up air to breathe off of. There's not pure oxygen injected, it's room air, but filtered so we don't have contaminants. So they're expensive. We looked at a cheaper model, but it wasn't apples to apples. So we decided to go with the good one.
What's the expected life?
The one we have right now is 30-some years old. It's the same brand, which is one of the reasons we went with that brand, because we have the low-pressure one now, and it's been on. I've been on 45 years, and we got it, I think, 8 years after I got on. So it's been very, very reliable. So we're going to stick with that brand.
Is there any value in the old system? Can you resell
We're going
it?
to try to sell it, yes, for whatever we can get for it. They don't bring a whole lot of money, believe it or not, which shocks me. But the salespeople for Mako said that ours might be worth a couple $1,000s. So we will, after we get this one in and installed, then we'll try to sell that to get whatever we can out of it. There are departments that don't have a compressor at all. So we'll try to help and we'll lean towards a local department. We're talking to Mount Auburn, they don't have a compressor at all. So, try to help the local department.
Most departments have one?
Most departments do have one. A lot of departments that have had them for a while are like ours, lower pressure. So going to the high pressure ones, it's kind of a step-by-step process because you need the high pressure air tanks, the SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus that we wear. But it doesn't do any good to buy a 6,000 pound rated unit if you can only fill it to 2,216, which is low pressure. So it's step by step. You have to get the fill station. This is how we just have to do it anyway. So we can fill them safely. If they blow up, it's contained into a unit. I have a picture on that first colored page. Door opens up and you can fill 2 bottles at a time. If something would go wrong and they blow up, it contains it within that so nobody gets hurt. So that was the first step we did. Then the compressors are next step, and changing our Cascade bottles to store the air. And then we'll work on getting new air packs. Because it doesn't do any good to have the air packs if we can't fill them.
So you've already got a $10,000 grant?
Yes.
So that's 10,000 out of the 59,608, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what you're in need of for the equipment is 49,608, basically.
Well, with 50,789.50
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
Because the $10,000 bought the fill station and installation. So
Okay.
that burned up the $10,000.
Okay, that's what it is here.
Yeah, so if you go to, what's it, page 4? That's
Sure,
what we're working on now.
okay. The 50,789.50.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I wanted to tell you that we got the grant for the 10,000 so that you didn't think we were trying to double dip.
No, I don't think that at all. So, okay. It just becomes clear on the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So I thought printing this stuff out for you might help.
Well, I think typically we can do a 10% towards the purchase, isn't that correct? And so that's not the whole thing, obviously, but it would help.
No, and where we're gonna come up with the other funds, which is probably in the back of your mind, where we're gonna get the rest of the money.
We have that EMS revolving loan fund as well.
That's through EMS.
Oh, yours
Our
is
town
separate.
does 2 separate departments. Our fire department's one department, our EMS is a different
Okay.
department. So the fire department can't use any of that money.
Okay, because we have that other option.
We have a fund that we're setting money aside to buy a new truck, because we used to do them every 10 years, but I think we're at 15 now, just because of funds and cost of trucks. You guys know what that's like. So we'll take, if we can't secure enough money to get it done, we'll take money out of that fund, and then work on replacing that.
So typically, I think the way it works is once you've purchased it, then, you submit the bill and then we give you the percentage back.
Okay?
I think that's how that is, but you're looking for a commitment from us, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of reading between lines, so, okay.
Make a motion to give them the 10%. So it'd be 5,000.
Basically $79.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we only have discuss on there though, do you want to wait and act on our resolution when he comes back with the invoice?
Yeah, and it may be a while before he comes back with an invoice, you just,
I could give you an invoice today if you wanted it. Page.
well, I think it's, don't they normally purchase it first?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, you did purchase it?
We did.
So,
Oh,
my
okay.
apologies.
I
whoever
picked
put
it up
that on.
Saturday,
Oh, darn.
Yeah,
Okay.
since I didn't see they only had
because
discuss.
we were gonna go ahead with this and just trying to figure out where we get the funds, and the thought of the local option sales tax
Mhm.
popped into my head, so that, here I am.
Well, I think you know, as Tracy made a motion that we can't act on actually,
Right.
you kind of get the directive that we have the bill.
Mhm.
And so Haley could probably put it on the next agenda, couldn't you?
Yep, and we'll get it on the next claim run for you, and then you'll
Okay.
maybe pick up the check the same day.
So you just want to use that one, or you want me to get you another one?
If this is the actual, this one says quote, so if you
Yeah.
could get me the actual invoice
Okay,
instead of the quote, that would be great. And you can email it too, if that's easier.
okay,
Sounds good. All right.
thank you.
So, thank you. It's good to see you staying on top of equipment. So,
Yeah, it's a long, expensive list.
yeah. Myron. Morning.
Back in February, we had a letting for a bridge replacement project on 16th Avenue up in Cedar Township. Action was taken to move forward with awarding that to the local contractor, Peterson Contractors Incorporated. Got a contract out to them. I got it last week back in the mail. And so on the agenda today, I have approval of the contract. Total dollars being $559,457.50. Board approval for the contract and the contractor's performance bond.
Can you say that one again?
559,457.50.
I wrote it down. Is there a motion to approve that and authorize the signing?
I authorized $559,457.50, signed contracts or whatever. That's my motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Been moved and seconded to approve that contract amount and authorize the signing. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Beershank, aye.
There was a envelope that came regarding some equipment.
Yeah, she gave it to me.
Okay, good, thank you.
Signature of the chairman line.
You want to date it, or you gotta do that?
I can date it. Okay.
Another one here?
Yep. One keyboard, one is the back of the contract.
Sure.
Signature on the box.
Fill in the other lines, obviously.
Yes.
Time flies. Thank you, sir.
I think that's all I have for you this morning.
Okay. Well, shall we move over to Shelby?
Next step of the housing development grant for Atkins. Just requires signature, title, and all that, just on number 2. I haven't marked. This is for release of funds for all the funding to technically and officially become ours. So that's that one. That's all I have there.
Okay.
It was in the newspaper and we went through public comment, I think 10 days. And I haven't heard anything, so that's good.
Okay. So we're gonna need a motion to release those funds and authorize the signature.
So moved.
Ken?
Second.
All right, that's been moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Beershank, aye.
before, I guess, do you want me to scan it to you, or do you want to scan it to me?
I can scan it too.
Okay,
Keep it in that
folder, okay, perfect, thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
And then for conservation updates, I just had 3 really quick things. We are still accepting bids for 1 more week for our water distribution system at Wildcat through ARPA to get the water lines in and the well set up. So that's exciting. Hopefully we get some good ones coming in. And then I have a Wildcat Bluff addition update. Since the 1-to-1 match has been going on from the Myers Conservation Fund, we've had $23,000 come in for the 1-to-1 match. One business, ClickStop, they donated $1,000, an organization, the Isaac Walton League, $2,500, and then the rest is all from the generosity of the public. So it's a pretty good 1-to-1 match. So we're still rocking and rolling on that, and the public is doing amazing things and super supportive of conservation, and we appreciate it. And then the third thing is conservation and IRM have their first new start employee, the IRM manager, Eric Shares. He came from the city of Waverly, and just wanted to introduce him. He officially started yesterday, and we'll be building that department up. If you have any questions for him, or if he wants to give a little spiel introduction.
Well, yeah, so like she said, from the city of Waverly, I was essentially the roadside manager there, also the city arborist, so everything from tree removals to big tree planting projects, planting prairie, burning, spraying, so pretty much everything this position requires, so I'm excited to be here.
Good to have you.
Welcome.
Yes.
Shelby brought him around yesterday.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
not around.
Very good.
perfect.
We'll ask you a question. Saw an article yesterday where the federal government is possibly turning over the state parks to county conservations. We don't have any, obviously, but did you see that?
I didn't. That's interesting too, because the state is on the route to rid of the park ranger position.
Let me rephrase that. I think it was the federal.
Right, yeah, so if the
Parks, not
state is getting rid of park rangers, it'd be interesting for the federal to give the state additional jurisdiction.
Yeah, it's,
I'm not quite sure,
yeah, it's gonna be a mess.
very much so. We're really lucky here, I think in Benton County, to have such like local influence. That's one of the big things that the community donors have said. It's really nice because they know exactly where the money's going, they know how it's being managed, they know,
Yeah.
we're neighbors with the people who are working with us. So that's nice, not having that really big disconnect of the state being in Des Moines and then being in DC. So.
Yep, very good. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we have a Class C retail alcohol license for Hy-Vee.
Yep.
Is this kind of the first time this has happened with Hy-Vee?
I think so. I don't know if it's just the change of grass or what.
Well, it's only about 3 days.
You must be doing like a temporary something.
Interesting.
That's true.
I know you've had a few contracts happening for them, that's how it has to do something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Let the city do that. I don't know. You know, you're correct. You'd think that'd be a city thing.
And does it say the address on there though, where they're taking it?
Well, they're out of Oskaloosa, that may be
That's
why.
what I mean, I think it's a temporary.
But again, it's within the city limits. Sheriff, any input?
I would have thought that would have went through the city. But it could have something to do with them.
Being from Oskaloosa. I don't know. There's plenty of time on it because it shows the start August 30th and September 3rd of this year. And if this is something we maybe need to question. What do you think, Sheriff? You guys
I think
kind
we
of
should check with the city and see if it, I think it should go through there.
Maybe the state pushed it to us an accident or something.
So would you just table that, I'm guessing?
They're just approved, but I need the dates out.
Yeah, there's time on it. You know, it's not like it's next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Benton County Supervisors.
Hey, this is Gina. That liquor license is a 5-day liquor license application for a wedding venue. It's the Spidell
Okay.
venue.
Oh,
Alright.
you probably know what
So
That's
I did my research and it's a county one and I have the sketch and the deed and all the proper information that is required.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Glad I sent the email. All right.
Okay,
Yep,
Bye.
bye.
now that makes sense.
Says it right here, showing.
Oh. I was looking at the dates
I was too.
and the address for Hy-Vee. I didn't know they had such thing. Interesting.
Ron, you got
Approved
something?
ID.
Sam's. Ron.
Okay,
Second.
all right. That's been moved and seconded to approve that Class C retail alcohol license for Hy-Vee. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, I
Rear shank eye.
Okay.
got to sign it all right.
Yeah.
Besides, I told me they'd have it done this morning.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it.
Okay.
Just right in the front. Right across, anyway.
Anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if there was a special.
No, there isn't.
Sleeves are sticking out.
There you go. Thank you. All right. How about some reports?
You wanna go back to the minutes? I'm done reading them.
Oh, you have you read them?
Yep,
Okay.
so go ahead, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Is that all three?
Yep.
Okay.
No, we did two.
I think we
right?
did two of them earlier,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Plus we did the 19th, so, all right. Okay. It's been moved and seconded on those minutes. I will call for vote. Primer?
Seaman,
Aye.
aye.
Rear shank eye.
How about reports now?
Last week I had Eastern Iowa Trust Fund. That fund voted and passed that they're gonna help with the down payment for 3 houses here in Benton for low income.
I seen that come through.
So, and then I also had Easy Cog, not too much to discuss there, pretty quiet. After that, Gary?
I had, Thursday, I had a meeting that, the state is moving things around.
Is this with the regional health or mental health? Or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, in a couple of years, are saying it's gonna probably go away. It's all gonna be state stuff. We've already next, or let two of the directors go, two different counties go, and hire two other people, their attorneys. Rules of the state. Hopefully it all goes well. Our region is probably, I'm sorry, but I think we're the best region in the state. We're gonna move some, the way it sounds, we're gonna move some of the counties around, or the state is. Gonna take some of the counties off our register, put some on. Don't know yet how it's all gonna work out. The state has really got control of this thing. That's about all I got.
Okay. Well, I had 4 of them, had been development, and they get quite a few inquiries, but, you know, nothing are stuck yet. And, you know, looking for locations to set up, do business. Had a Heartland meeting, and that was on Thursday. That was a lengthy one, and unfortunately it, along with the Iowa Workforce Development meeting, was at the same time. I went to the Heartland one. The other one was a Zoom, but I went to the Heartland one. Then, of course, all 3 of us, including Haley, was at the EMS meeting last Thursday night. So, from there, that was it. Yeah. All right. Sue, you've got a few things?
I do. What do I have first? Oh, is that resolution number correct?
Yep, because they didn't give the law.
That's bringing the Benton County Attorney's Office paralegal, that we revised that resolution, which she just gave me, and I can't find it. Right here. He's starting out as a paralegal at $50,000 a year, operating under Ray's license, and then when he passes his bar, then we will revise that or bring him again for review as Assistant County Attorney.
And you have his name, which is...
Derek Marsh from Virginia.
Okay.
You got another copy?
Is there 2 there? I only did 2, one for, yeah.
That was Dennis?
Derek. Derek Marsh.
Derek?
Mhm.
Okay. I was gonna say, it's written in the minutes here on the thing. So yeah, okay. When will he be starting?
June 1st. Pretty shortly after he graduates and relocates.
Okay.
We have a question here.
Oh,
How
Catherine,
many assistant county attorneys do we have in Benton County?
currently,
Yes.
1. We had 2.
What was the man that was here last week?
That's Tim Dilly.
Is he an assistant?
Yep. Has been for a number of years. Do you know how long he was?
About 3? About 3?
He started under Dave, so maybe 3 or 4 maybe.
Yep.
Motion to approve Derek Marsh,
Okay.
Second?
paralegal.
All right. That's been moved and seconded. I'll call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Deershank, aye.
Very good. Thank
The
you.
second thing is the ISAC wellness agreement. They were going through their records and realized we hadn't had this signed by our chair that we're going to partnership with them in that ISAC wellness. You know, where we can get the incentive for the discounts, we're going to follow their rules, offer the Care Bridge EAP to our program, all that sort of thing. They just need your official signature on our wellness agreement with ISAC. So I just need your signature on that one.
Motion for the chair to sign the Isaac Wellness Program Agreement.
Second. Okay, that's been moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Your shake aye.
Let me keep going.
Continue, please.
And then I have a resignation for Richard McNamara from Secondary Roads. I believe he is relocating. That is the reason for his, am I correct?
Correct.
Correct. That is the reason for his resignation from Secondary Roads. His last day will be May 1st. So you can just sign that resignation letter right there, Gary.
Tim says 5 years on September 9th,
Fine.
longer than I thought.
Okay.
So Myron and I will get back to the interviewing again. We've had so much fun doing that together for numerous positions in Secondary Roads.
Where was he?
He runs the motor grader out of Bighorn.
I need to sign this.
Yes, all three of you, I think, just that you acknowledge the resignation.
Is that,
What's that?
did you already make that motion?
Make motion. Second.
To accept his resignation?
No, not that one, I think.
That's what I was talking about, the resignation.
Yeah, we already did this other one, the wellness. So,
No, he opportunity
so
financially.
is there a motion to accept his resignation? That's, it just says approve it, but it's best if it
I'll
just,
move we approve this resignation.
Yeah, acknowledge it.
or acknowledge, however you may wish to say, yeah, okay. All right, so you want to second that then, or
I'll second.
acknowledge also,
Yeah.
however you want to do it? All right. Call for vote, Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Your shake aye.
Oh, shoot, there's another part of that, I missed it, I'm sorry. It kind of got split up, being passed around. Here's this.
Has anybody applied for Mr. Mack?
We just learned about this last Thursday or Friday, so we hadn't even posted it yet.
There's that. All right, and then you,
Were you gonna say something,
I
Gary?
think we got it all? Then you have an update.
I do have some updates, and there are several pieces here, and I'll try to move through them quickly. But after the last meeting, I was approached by both staff member and a non-staff member from the community asking, you know, why I don't take the opportunity in the meeting to kind of clarify some of the things that there seems to be concerns or misconceptions about, and encouraged me to do that perhaps to clear up some of those unknowns or miscommunication. So I kind of just wanted to take a few minutes and do that. I'll go through it quickly if you're okay with that, because I think it might help with some of those concerns that have been brought up at previous meetings and written and that sort of thing. So anyway, I just thought it might be of benefit. So I think there was questions about my job description, what do I do, what have I done? So I just wanted to briefly just talk about some of the things that are in there and that I've done since coming to Benton County. We implemented the performance review policy in all staff reviews. That's something that hadn't been done for many years. That's a best practice. That was actually brought up at ISAC as well, that people should have annual performance reviews. We implemented the countywide texting program to improve communication. That was one of the things that came up in my job interview, is that the lack of communication to reaching some of the remote sheds and some of the, there's just kind of a disconnectedness, so that was something. Updated job postings to make them more attractive to applicants and make them compliant. Updated the job application form itself. Facilitated, assisted in the hire of, I think, about 10 positions. We resurrected the wellness committee that had been dormant for some time, created the safety committee, created a handbook committee, began to review, revise and update handbook language based on employee feedback to bring that up to date. Was another thing that was mentioned heavily in my job interview. We switched the flex spending vendor to save the county some money. Reintroduced the annual county meeting. I don't think that had been done for a while. Reintroduced handing out service pins. Implemented countywide challenges and the traveling trophy to promote team building and employee engagement. That was also something that had come up in the job interview. We're in process of converting to online benefits enrollment for staff to choose and review their own benefits rather than doing the paper. A lot of time there's questions about, I thought I signed up for that, did I sign up for that? They'll be able to see it and be able to confirm, yep, I wanted that, no, I didn't want that. And then in process of converting to electronic time and attendance and leave tracking so that again, staff has access easier to their time and can see at a glance what their leave balances are, some of those things. So that's just in a nutshell some of the things I could think of at the top of my head that I have done. Now I just wanted to address some of the maybe misconceptions or misunderstandings that were out there. So there was something shared, I think here and then also in written print that I ordered IT staff to take cameras down. I just wanted to clarify that I don't oversee IT and I don't have any authority to tell the IT person what to do. The Board of Supervisors is who IT reports to. What I was asked to do by the board was to investigate the situation, and that's one of the things in my job description is to look into things at the board's request. So there are certain expectations of employee conduct. That's why we have a handbook. And if there's violations of that handbook, then I'm asked to look into them and then address them accordingly, just like rules of conduct, policy, that sort of thing. The county's determined that they want to follow the handbook and that they want those matters looked into, and so that's why I did that at that request. So employees sign off on the handbook, they acknowledge to those rules, and so it's just about, checks and balances and checking into when it's presented to me that a potential violation of that has been broken. There was also comments about going after an individual, a witch hunt, an axe to grind. Again, I want to clarify my role. Whoever brings a complaint to me, I have an obligation to look into it, especially if a potential law is being broken. It doesn't matter who you are, what your role is. That's what I'm asked to do. Part of my job, everything I do actually, is to try to prevent liability and protect the county from liability. And so when those concerns are brought to me and I'm asked to do it, that's part of my job and that's why I do it. Everything I do is to try to protect the county from risk. Again, expectations of honesty are part of the job, following the handbook. That's why I did that. Again, not my choice, at my request. That brings me into, again, there seems to be a lot of communication about motives for looking into a different vendor for processing payroll. Again, I think it's been said I want to take those duties over. I do not want to do that. I do not like payroll. I'm not a numbers person. I wouldn't be good at that. I have enough on my plate. What I do want to do is, again, protect the county from liability, and when concerns were brought forward, that potentially, for example, taking a deduction from an employee that they didn't authorize the deduction. I've been part of investigations where that can go, an employee can make a complaint to an outside government organization and they come in and audit files and say, how are you doing this? Why are you doing this? So again, I want to protect the county from liability. Payroll laws are changing. Laws only get more complicated over time rather than less. And so by having, somebody who does that day in and day out, they can help shield the county, the auditor's office from liability. One example is the new W-4 form that came out in December. We did not get that communication to our employees until January.
That wasn't a requirement.
And so, is it okay if I finish, or?
Yes, but that wasn't a requirement.
Okay.
It's just suggested.
Please go on.
Thank you. Best practice is when laws change like that, it's good to communicate to the employee to give them the option, hey, your tax bracket, your tax laws, this has changed, this form is going to change your allowances, you may want to fill out a new form. So Again, it's really hard to keep up on all those things, so that is another thing that having someone who does that day in and day out might be able to assist. So that was the motivation for that. Again, the concerns being brought and me trying to do my job of protecting the county of any liability. The other piece that I heard, I need to raise that concern if it's brought to my attention. That's part of what I've been asked to do. If it's not wanted for me to do that, then I think, the board needs to tell me they don't want me to look into those potential things anymore. Money spent on legal fees was also brought up. Sometimes the county attorney directs me to reach out to outside legal because his specialty is not employment law, and he will willingly say that. Sometimes we both reach out to outside legal. Sometimes we need to get another perspective or opinion when we're handling a sensitive issue, and so that's why sometimes we do have some additional bills with them, and why we need to go to them sometimes in addition to our county attorney. My attendance at board meetings was brought up. I believe that was a recommendation from legal early on. I'm trying to learn a new job. It helps me learn what's going on in the county. Sometimes things are brought up that I can follow up on that I wouldn't otherwise be privy to. I think Kelly, in fact, had a comment about stay interviews, which is a great idea, which I would have not had on my radar had I not come here and heard that suggestion. And that is something we're going to implement to see, why employees are here, why they want to stay, what more can we keep to keep this an employer of choice for them. So I learn about things with roads. That helps me when I interview with Myron, and I feel more knowledgeable to ask questions. I learn what's going on in the community. I'm meeting people. That is why I'm here and take notes to try to increase my knowledge and understand things. It has been brought up about asking for clarification on a part of Iowa code. That's another piece of me trying to learn. When you start a job and certain expectations are shared, and then they go a certain way, and then all of a sudden they change, that's confusing to me when I go back and refer to my notes, and previously, it was one way and then it changed. And so that's seeking clarification is all I'm doing there, is trying to understand, okay, if this needs to be, not a copy now, where did I miss that in the code? Can you show me? Why did it change? So again, no disrespect meant to anybody when I ask questions, but that's how I learn and understand. I know the public has been asking a lot of questions to learn and understand, and I think that's great, and that's all I'm trying to do is get clarification. Responding to the Board of Health letters, it was asked if that's part of my job description. My job description has a line item that says other duties as assigned. Most job descriptions do have that to cover anything that may come up that you're asked to do by your supervisors. When the Board of Health letters went out, the Board of Health members were reaching out to the auditor's office asking for some clarification, and the auditor forwarded those to Ray and I, and then Ray and I spoke, and I was asked to respond to those at that time. I'm not sure why that was, but that was what I was directed to do, so that's why I did that. That's not, again, just another duty as assigned, I guess, is what I can say about that. The outside employment seems to be another issue of concern. I'm not a parole officer. I know that was listed somewhere. I don't have those qualifications and don't think I would be very good at that. I do still do some HR work for my former employer, and typically it's on weekends, once in a while at night. And when I interviewed for the position, Megan from the county attorney's office was my point person, and I asked Megan if that would be okay to continue to do that. Megan went back to the hiring committee, which consisted of Supervisor Primer, representative from Conservation, 2 from the Sheriff's Office, 1 from the Treasurer's Office, and 1 from Secondary Roads, and they didn't see a problem with that. My contract was then drafted, and there's nothing written in it that precludes me from doing that. The handbook doesn't prevent outside employment, and there are multiple staff members who do have multiple jobs. I'm not sure why mine is so interesting, but I know one employee told me she has 3 jobs actually, which is a lot. you know, if the public has questions about that, I wish that they would reach out and ask, because I'm happy to answer those questions, and then we wouldn't have misconceptions printed or shared around the community. You know, I think our employees that do have outside work, it's commendable. They have a good work ethic, they're trying to better things for their family. I'm proud of them for doing so, and as long as their supervisors are okay, I don't see a problem with it. I think maybe even Haley has an outside business as well. I know we have somebody else who does an outside business.
Oh,
She
don't throw
doesn't
my
have-
cookies in there,
She
please.
doesn't have an
Oh,
outside
okay.
business.
Oh, okay, so, someone had just said that, so I just think there's numerous people that have outside employment and outside businesses. I think there's another one that does some things for the county. LinkedIn, that's another thing that came up. LinkedIn is a platform to connect with other professionals. I'm not sure, people who aren't familiar with that, just to give you a quick nutshell, headhunters reach out on LinkedIn to see if they want to hire somebody for a job. Evidently, my LinkedIn profile still had my former employer on there, and somebody was concerned about that. So because I don't use LinkedIn for looking for a job, I use it more to connect with resources, to brainstorm with colleagues I might meet at a conference. I'm not good about updating mine, so now that it was shared, and thank you, Kelly, for sharing that. I did update my LinkedIn profile, and I also learned it said I was active on a board that I haven't been on for 10 years, so I was glad that was brought to my attention to update it, and it doesn't say that anymore. But again, nothing intentional there, just I didn't get out and update it, but if anybody wanted to ask about it, they certainly can. Documentation came up. Why am I always taking notes to try to hold them against somebody later? HR does take notes. You can ask an attorney, you can ask any HR person, that's what they want us to do. Those have often been used to come back in cases of defense situations, litigation, things like that. Again, going back to the ISAC meeting, I think that was one of the first things they said to the group, document, document, document. So that's why I take notes, and again, to try to learn. A request for part-time help. It's my understanding this position, when it was initially created 3 or 4 years ago, the goal was to have a second full-time person after the department was up and running. So that isn't a new request by me. That's something that when the position was developed was brought up, to my understanding. It came up again in my employee evaluation in October that I needed to get some help because I was working a lot of hours, doing a lot of things. We have about 150 staff members. According to the Human Capital Benchmark report, the average HR staff to employee ratio recommended is 1.7 to make sure employees get that individual attention. So obviously we're a little under that. I thought I'd start with a part-time person, see how that works. Not spend a lot of money, just to make sure, you know, nothing gets dropped. That was another thing that came up as important in my interview, ensuring employees' needs get addressed, that, you know, they don't have to wait for responses and that sort of thing. So that's important, and so that is why my request for that took place. I want to make sure employees know they're my top priority and that they're getting their responses answered, as well as balancing some of these other priorities and things that I have. I think that was the main ones that I had heard about that I wanted to just touch on in the hope of providing clarity, hoping it was beneficial for the public and those that are curious. Again, if anybody has individual questions, I would encourage them to stop in my office at any time. I have an open door policy, happy to answer questions as long as it doesn't touch on anything that's protected under confidentiality or personnel records or anything like that. So tried to move that as briefly as I can. I think that was all I had. Thank you for
I have a
giving me
couple
the
questions.
opportunity to do that.
Can I ask you a couple questions? The texting program, it was my 50th birthday Sunday and I didn't get a text. Just curious how that's working.
I think you opted out.
No, I did not.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to check.
I just didn't know if it was active or not right now.
It's active. I've been working with the vendor, IDT Communications, who does our phone service, and I think Ben has been included on a few of those that we were having some problems with it. And he said, you just want me to scrub all the data and restart it because you're not the first person that said that. And so I said, then are they going to have to opt in again? And is that going to be inconvenient for employees? So we were still working that out with IDT and hadn't landed on something. So apologize, I'll look into that.
And you said you're not the one that does the investigation. Who asked you to research my business of my cookie job then? That's my stress relief cookies I bake. I've been known for that for years. It's not a
Yeah, I don't
business.
think I said I researched
No,
your
but
business.
how did you, what brought that to your attention?
Oh, an
Yeah, I
employee
asked.
had shared that with me.
Okay. Yep, I bake for a lot of us in here.
That's fantastic. I think we have another employee that has a side business doing that as well. I think outside employment is great. Absolutely.
I will say, she had great cookies. They're good.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Cake pops too, maybe?
No,
Oh.
that's for a wedding.
I thought someone said cake pops. Maybe that was the other business.
That's for my own family weddings and
Yeah.
stuff. but
Oh,
those aren't-
maybe it was the other person that does that, that business. Yeah, I think when the outside employment was raised, an employee had said, you know, there's all these other employees that have that, and yours was one that had come to light, and so that's
Well,
why.
mine doesn't interfere with my daily.
It's not necessarily business anyway.
No.
Yeah. Mine doesn't interfere with my daily duties either. Would you?
No, but I
care to
do want to
elaborate
clarify
on
some
that?
other issues too with the W-4 thing.
Well,
You're-
first, can we handle your other one first? How does mine interfere with my work? I guess you just made that comment. What do you mean by that? Do you have an example?
I guess, do you attend a meeting for the federal business while you're supposed to be a county employee during the day?
Mm-mm.
You've never done that?
Not unless I would take vacation time for that,
I'm
yeah.
just curious.
I'm
I mean,
on a
I get,
couple-
people bring things to my attention just like they bring them to yours, so there's
Right.
two sides to every
Perception
story.
a lot.
Sure. Yeah, I do sit on a board, an HR board. It doesn't have anything to do with either employment. Also something I brought up to the hiring committee to see if it was still okay if I served on that Eastern Iowa HR board. So there's some meetings I attend with regards to that, seminars and things like that.
And I'd also like to point out, I know you said you have to outsource legal attorneys for, you know, the professional HR. Don't you gentlemen remember back before we had the HR? That's all I was asking because even the prior attorney before Ray was not helpful with doing some policies and such. So I don't ever recall stating that we were gonna hire 2 people for HR back then. So I guess I got kicked out of the employee eval for her in October, so I'm just really curious, is that where all this is stemming from? And there's been a lot of activities taking place since that meeting, so. And
I honestly can't recall. And sometimes I just can't hardly remember what I did last week. Happens. I think Gary can understand that, so, but.
well, and then with the misconception of payroll errors, again, yes, there's payroll errors, things happen.
It happens.
But we can't fix them unless the employee comes to us to fix. I know you've made errors in payroll too. You know how deductions have to be brought up the month before. So I feel like,
If we
it's-
could. go
yes,
ahead
but
and
I'm
move
just
on.
clarifying. I feel like
Yeah.
it's he said, she said, and it's all
I
about her and I.
know.
It's not
There's a
about
lot
other
of that,
departments.
unfortunately. So,
Yes, there is.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Hey, just a second.
I just have a
We'll come
question.
to the public interest now, okay?
Who handled HR before her in the last one? The county seemed to get along great.
Our office did.
Yeah.
But during COVID, as y'all know, it got a little extra stressful with people having COVID, we're closing to the public. That's when I said I needed some outsourcing specialty and needed some policies and such. And that's when the supervisors decided that I was not gonna be able to outsource it, that they wanted an in-house person to do some of that.
I think we can agree COVID really messed this country up, without a doubt. But, okay, other questions? Larry?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I have a comment. My name is Cindy Lauer. And I think, Sue, a lot of it is perception. You're new here to everybody, and there's a lot of rumors about you, and I think there's just, to find out that you have a second job, but you're already asking for an assistant. I think it looks bad because people think, well, of course she needs an assistant. She's working 2 jobs. Who's gonna have enough time in an 8 to 10 hour day to do all that? So a lot of it is perception, and I think you just seem to be a pot stirrer a little bit and caused a lot of heartache and hurt feelings around, and I think that's one of the things you're gonna be having to backpedal and try to smooth that over, and explaining it does help, I think.
Thank you, thanks for sharing that. Yes, I've heard that comment before. I'm somebody who operates on about 4 hours sleep and have always held 2 jobs, probably since I was 20 years old, and I go a million miles a minute, but I totally can see how it's like, how does that even fit into a 24-hour day? So thanks for sharing that. I think you're right.
Thank you. Anything else?
I just want to say, since you called me out about saying something, I had sent that email to the supervisors about your second job. I did not call it out on any social media. In fact, somebody called in last week and talked about it. So I don't know why you're calling me out on that, because I had actually sent it to them in private without any response to even defend you, to say, oh yeah, we knew about it on hire.
I thought I was included in the response.
I thought I sent you
Yeah.
a reply.
That's how
I know I sent you a reply.
You might want to check the address then, because
Okay. Okay.
That's how I saw
I'll
it,
get
because I
your
was-
email address after the
Yeah.
meeting.
I was
Okay, thank
CC'd
you.
on the reply, that's how. And I was just saying thank you. I mean, it wasn't meaning, I was just thank you for bringing that to my attention. When you get on LinkedIn, you can see who's looked at your profile. And so it said Kelly had been viewing your profile, and so that's how you had brought that up, and I just, thank you for checking on that and bringing that to my attention, because again, I shouldn't be showing that I'm sitting on a board that I haven't sat on for 10 years, so I was able to make a couple other updates on my profile to make sure it's accurate.
Brian Averin, actually a question for Larry. This high-pressure compressor, I know you talked about maybe helping Mount Auburn out a little bit. Is that something that can benefit the whole county, though, that the other fire departments and the various, because I think you said they had the low-pressure compressors, or would they have to do all the upgrades like you were talking about to benefit from that? I just didn't know if that could be shared amongst the county.
We fill tanks for other people with a compressor now, if that's what you're wondering, if you know a local town that has SCBA's and they don't have a compressor and need to fill them, yeah, we will fill them for people, no charge. I mean, we're not in the business for doing it, but we believe in helping local departments. We'll mutual aid, as we're called, as far as helping fire and accident. But if you know somebody that needs their tanks filled, send them over.
I just was curious because a $50,000 compressor, if Shelburne doesn't have to buy one, if they were going to high pressure, I just think that'd be a good thing for the community.
Salisbury has one.
Oh, they
I
have
think
that.
they have one like what we're putting in.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Anything else, gentlemen?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye. Pearson, aye.
Very good. Thank you.
That's what we did before. We got the first compressor, which we had tanks, and we took them to another town and filled the tanks, then we come back